Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about some different terminology and words and stuff that I've been using on the blog. A bit more detail, kind of giving you guys a bit of knowledge if you don't know already, because I certainly didn't when I started the sustainable journey. Kind of what they mean in terms of the fashion industry and stuff like that, and how what I mean when I use these kind of terms and words and stuff. So I'll start off with the big one, the main one, one of the main ones, which is slow fashion, which often comes as the other side to fast fashion. So in the fast fashion industry, it is basically about being sucked into their kind of see now, buy now, wear for a week and then chuck away kind of mentality, whereas slow fashion is more about taking a different approach to purchasing clothing, taking a step back, being more methodical. Methodical, is that the word? Thinking things through, when making purchases, buying clothes that are sustainable rather than made cheaply on the high street. And it allows, so slow fashion kind of is allowing you, allows the consumer to purchase clothing which is of a high quality, which is sustainable, so it will last longer, and therefore in the end you'll end up buying fewer clothes less often, meaning that you'll slow the rate of fashion consumption, which is definitely a good thing because we consume far too much fashion currently, within the UK, within the world. The consumption of fashion and the throwaway the amount that we throw away at the moment is just absolutely ridiculous. So slow fashion is basically the slower approach to purchasing clothes, and basically fewer clothes less often, less waste, in a nutshell. So within that, I spoke about sustainable fashion, which is another term that I use quite a lot. I mean, sustainable style, that's the name of the blog, that's the name of the channel, it's what it's all about really. So knowing what that is about is pretty key to this whole blog. So sustainable fashion, it's kind of the same as ethical fashion. It basically is it takes into sustainable fashion means the story, the journey of the garment, where it starts off, is it using sustainable organic cotton or sustainable reusable materials? Are the people manufacture the product, are they getting good wages? Are they in good working conditions? So it kind of looks at all of those sections, the life of the garment. So when we talk about sustainable ethical fashion, it basically means it gives consideration to the ethical environment impacts that are made in order to create the garment, and hope when we talk about sustainable garments, they have the least or little impact on the planet and other human beings when the product is made. So that kind of when you're creating a sustainable product, the quality is better because the materials are better, more organic, and that the way that they're made is more ethical, and there's a lot more detail and hard work put into it, so therefore the lifespan of the piece will be a lot longer than, say, a top from Primark that cost you £2. In the same sense, very similar, moving on to the next term, eco-friendly / organic, that basically means that the clothes and the way they're made has had little or to no harm on the ecosystem or the environment. So for example, the dyes are used to create the colour in the top, where the materials are sourced from, what other CO2 emissions, how much water is being used, all of those factors, if they're brought down to be as minimal as possible, that means that the piece that they're making is sustainable and ethical and eco and organic. Specifically organic cotton, and trying to use sources and materials that are as organic as possible. Excuse me, I'm just going to have some tea. So I'm now going to move on to my final one of this video. I will be doing more like a lot further along the line, like some more terms that I find out and learn and stuff like that. But so the final one is a conscious consumer, which is basically you and I. We are now conscious consumers because we are aware of the negative implications of purchasing items that are not sustainable. So we are aware that if I buy that top from Primark, that it could have been potentially made by a child in a like really bad factory. I'm not saying that specifically to Primark. I don't know. I haven't looked into Primark's factories and etc. and what their sustainable grasp is on the world. But for example, that top could be made by a child garment worker in terrible working conditions, next to nothing. Like their living wage would probably be nothing, and like as a conscious consumer, you're more aware of that. So when you pick that top up, you go, actually, no, I don't know what harm or like damage this could have caused to a human being, like somewhere else. Like there's this famous quote, I can't quite remember it. I'll leave it in the link in the description box below what exactly the words are, because I'll probably murder it. But it's saying about somewhere is always paying for like the price of fashion, or something along those lines. So I'll leave it in the description box below the proper quote for it and who said that. But that's really important, because when you're purchasing and you think, oh my god, this is so cheap, someone somewhere is actually paying for what it really takes to make that item of clothing. And that is just, I feel like that really hits home to me, like how important it is to be a conscious consumer. And yeah, so another part of being a conscious consumer is also shopping more sustainably. So like I said, so conscious consumers live by the slow fashion approach to shopping. So a conscious consumer would not not go out and impulse buy continually and chuck clothes away and stuff like that. They just buy like thoughtfully and like less often and less pieces, because the pieces that they buy, like for example this beautiful Everlane t-shirt that I'm wearing today, like I won't buy another Breton t-shirt next week because I have a Breton t-shirt. There's no point in repurchasing the same items. Like you think more like in depth about your wardrobe rather than, oh my gosh, I need this. So they're my four, I really should have done 5. They're my 4 like terms that I've been using on the blog, and you'll see them pop up in the blog in future like blog posts and etc. and in future videos. So I thought I'd give like a little rundown or a little jargon buster of what those words kind of mean in depth in relation to fashion. I will be doing more in the future, so keep an eye out for these kind of videos. Let me know if you enjoyed them, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys!